Christian Horner has been linked with heading up a potential new Formula One team from Chinese company BYD, the automotive company Build Your Dreams. Now, John Noble, how serious is this possibility?
The possibility itself is serious. BYD, big Chinese manufacturer, makes electric vehicles, makes hybrid vehicles. It has set its sights on Formula One. It thinks it's the right place to be. It thinks it wants to go there, and it wants Christian Horner on board. So from that perspective, it is serious. The key question is, what are the hurdles that need to be overcome, and how long is it going to take?
Yeah, and certainly we should take it seriously because BYD, many will have heard of it, some won't, but it is absolutely massive. It's the third largest automotive maker in the world by market capitalisation, so money shouldn't be a problem there. And it seems perfectly logical to get Christian Horner on board. Now, we know he's had some kind of contact with them. We know he's involved with them. So what needs to happen for this to go from a potential to a serious ongoing project?
I think the first thing is defining Christian Horner's role in this. We know that Christian wants to come back to Formula One. He was a bit, surprised, shocked by his dismissal from Red Bull last year. He's been evaluating options. He thinks there's unfinished business. There is a bid to take a minority shareholder in Alpine, the 24% that's owned by Otro Capital. Those discussions are ongoing. Decision we anticipate in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So this is one route for him. BYD is interested in Christian. He travelled to the south of France last week, was due to attend the Formula E race in Monaco. This then ended up being twinned by a meeting in Cannes, several meetings, in fact, in Cannes with BYD, with Stella Lee, an executive vice president. So they've discussed their ambitions, what they want to do, how they see the project going forwards. There's been no final green light, no tick, no, this is definitely happening, we want you on board. But from what we understand, the discussions are serious, the discussions are ongoing, and this project's going to tick along, but it's not 100% yet clear what direction Christian's going to go in.
You would have thought, though, if Christian Horner was to be given full control, the chance to build up a team from scratch, which he's sort of done before, this would literally be from scratch, whereas Red Bull Racing obviously was from almost effectively scratch, given Red Bull took over the really struggling Jaguar team. But if he had that control, if he had the resources, if he had the chance to build something up from scratch in his image, surely that would trump any other possibility for him.
Yeah, this is the perfect project for Christian. He's been absolutely clear that he wants to come back to F1 on his terms. He doesn't want to just be slotted in as team principal, take orders from a CEO or executive above him, not have any bigger say in it. So he either wants a financial stake, a financial interest, as the discussions with Alpine are about, or it's to take control of a project. And this BYD, the idea behind it, they want to go big. BYD, from what we understand, wants 100% control of whatever it does, whether that's starting up a team from scratch, whether that's discussing with a current owner, taking over a team, but it will be 100%. They don't want to be a shareholder. They want to have their own team. So this would be an opportunity, the perfect opportunity for Christian, shape something in his image, make this a team that pushes on like Red Bull, is optimized for the regulations, and he has control because they want Christian on board. They want him to direct this. They want him to lead this. And it's a much better scenario for him to make an impact than it would be coming in somewhere as a minority shareholder, wrestling for control and not quite having the control and the influence that he aims for.
And knowing Christian Horner, ultimately that will be the big question. Does he have the control? And probably, does he have that stake in the team? Because that's clearly something that's very important to him, isn't it? In terms of it really being his team, even if he's not owning all of it, but a minority stake would allow him to do what, say, Toto Wolff has been able to do and really feel it was his team, if you like.
Well, exactly. It could well be that BYD, like full control of a team, whether it's a current team or a brand new team, but Christian takes a shareholding in it, has that financial interest, that vested interest, becomes a minority stakeholder, but with the influence he likes, and with BYD happy because it's coming from outside of Formula One. It doesn't have current experience of Grand Prix racing. It doesn't know fully what hoops need to be kind of gone through to get there, the hurdles, the challenge, the time frames involved as well, because if you're going to start a team from scratch, you're talking 3, 4, 5 years to get this thing actually onto the track. if the entry process opens up at all. So this seems to be at the moment something that can move forwards, but there's still an awful long way to go.
Well, that's a good point about the entry process, because while there's certainly an interest from the FIA in having a 12th team, particularly China, Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the FIA president, has often talked about China as a growth area, and quite justifiably. F1 as a whole would probably look at BYD as a great commercial opportunity as well that would add value to Formula One. So both sides there would presumably be very, very open to it, but it does need that process to start, and it would need a hand like Christian Horner who can work through the political machinations, because this sort of process, it's never really opened, is it? It's really done as much as anything behind closed doors, and having someone like Christian Horner who has close relationships with all the key players would certainly grease those wheels very, very effectively. So even before he was to start building up a team, actually he would be critical in terms of actually getting that door open, surely.
Yeah, politically, it's very, very difficult to get into Formula One. We know the challenges that Cadillac faced, the original Andretti project, not getting the green light, it morphing into Cadillac and the commitment they needed. And it would be something that maybe other teams would go against. If you add a 12th team, you're diluting the prize fund, you're diluting the commercial rights income. We know that the Cadillac project had to pay this dilution fee. I'm sure it'd be even bigger for a 12th team. And while Mohammed Ben Sulayem has openly talked about, welcoming a Chinese manufacturer in, I don't think everyone in F1 would openly welcome another entry there. So there would be negotiations to be had. There would be convincing. There would be political games in play, because F1 is a super competitive business. And while there would be benefits to having a manufacturer like BYD on board and all that opportunities opens up in the Chinese market, equally teams are very selfish. And if they see their prize money going down to get someone else in, it's not something they'll welcome.
This video is presented by Attio, the AI CRM for high-growth teams. In motorsport, the team with the best data wins. Every lap, every corner, every pit stop decision comes down to how fast you can read the situation and act on it. Business is no different. The teams running on Attio aren't the ones working the longest hours. They're the ones moving with laser precision with the right information at the right moment. That's what Attio is built to give you. Connect your emails, calls, and product data, and Attio instantly builds your CRM with enriched data and complete context. Then, ask Attio anything. Prep for a meeting in seconds, spot deals at risk before they stall, know your next move before your competition does. Powered by Universal Context, Attio's intelligence layer, every customer signal is connected and instantly actionable. The race doesn't slow down, neither should your CRM. As a viewer of this video, you can claim a 14-day free trial with Attio, so now is an excellent time to up your CRM game with no strings attached. Redeem the offer for free at attio.com/race. Ask more from CRM. Ask Attio.
The good thing is, in terms of how seriously to take this project, if BYD really wanted to commit, they've certainly got the resources, and also it would make perfect sense, because this is a company that's had enormous growth in China, and obviously it has pushed outside China. It's growing in Europe, around the world. So Formula One as such a global showcase would be such an obvious place for it to go, wouldn't it? I guess the one question there is, given it's a battery company, among other things, it does have other areas as well, but there is that question of how well that would fit in with a Formula One that may be moving a little bit more away from that kind of thing, with reduced battery contribution for whenever the new regs are. Do you have any sense of how that might play out, or do you think that the marketing window and the opportunity Formula One represents is actually more important than any technology opportunity?
Key to that, I think, will be the hybrid element for the next rule set. We know pretty much from what Stefano Domenicali's told us, we know what Mohammed Ben Sulayem's told the press. We're going to a V8 engine. Whether that is 2031 or 2030 isn't decided, but it is happening. The battleground will be the scale of the hybrid element. Will it be the smallest component, maybe like KERS was, a very small element of the power unit? Will it be bigger, maybe what we had in the previous turbo hybrid era? This is a battleground between manufacturers. I think it will be essential for there to be a hybrid element to the new power units. And I think that will fit in with what BYD is. It doesn't sell cars anymore that are just internal combustion engine. They're either electric, they're either hybrid. But if F1 maintains some hybrid element, which I think in some form it will, then that will more than justify their involvement. And I think they see the wider opportunities of Formula One, which is the global platform, the huge fan base, the commercial opportunities, and everything else that comes on top of being a part of a huge global sport.
And also, it does have the power to emerge as quite an influential voice in terms of framing those regulations. Let's say it was to press on, and let's say F1 and the FIA and the teams, however reluctantly, were on board. They would potentially have a powerful voice there, as well as a key growth area for Formula One in terms of the Chinese market that Formula One's really tried to tap into over the past 20 years. So there's that element of things as well. But you'd have to say, if you had somebody like Horner, he is somebody who you have to take very seriously as having the ability to build a team from the ground up. It's incredibly difficult to do, but he knows everybody in Formula One. He's got a lot of very accomplished people who are very loyal to him. I imagine there would be some pretty seriously accomplished people who, if he picked up the phone and said, "I'm doing this, do you want in?" would think about it very, very seriously. So it would seem to be a way for BYD, if it were to go ahead, to have a credible chance of emerging as a race-winning, a championship-winning Formula One team on a realistic timeline that just wouldn't be possible if it were just to announce and perhaps be scrambling around looking for somebody to lead it.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian Horner's he's a proven winner in Formula One. He's got a track record. He understands how to build a team up. He understands paddock politics. He understands the people you need to negotiate with, how to negotiate, how to get staff, how to motivate staff, what it takes to pull something together, the realistic timeframes, how the machinations behind the scenes actually work. So if you're BYD, if you're serious about Formula One, you need someone with that experience, that level of understanding, the political nuances, all the different aspects that are absolutely critical to be successful in Formula One. You need someone like that leading your project. So it makes entire logical sense for BYD to get Christian, try and commit him to a deal, and then push on with this project if they are determined to get there in the next 3 or 4 years.
And being able to pull off a deal with Christian Horner, you would say, is a very, very good barometer of how seriously they should be taken, because it may need them to cede a little bit of control. And this is a company that likes to have control. For example, they've got their own freight operation for their exports rather than relying on an external company. They bought ships themselves. They've got a small fleet there that they can transport their products around the world. So they like to have that control. But I think when it comes to something as specialised as Formula One, a willingness to cede the level of control needed to get a specialist to get the job done is absolutely what's needed. And if they're not willing to do that, then that perhaps doesn't bode so well for Formula One. So the very fact that this is being talked about, they have had some kind of discussion, there is a real possibility this could happen, suggests to me that this is a project to be treated with great credibility.
Absolutely. From what we understand, this is a legitimate project. They're very keen to make it happen. This is why they've spoken to Christian. It wasn't just one meeting, it was several meetings. And they're pushing on. So I think it'll be fascinating to see, A, how this develops, and B, what is the reaction in the paddock. Is F1 supportive, or is F1 going to make life difficult?
And you'd have to say that it should appeal to Formula One. It should be exactly the kind of company Formula One wants competing, because it will help drive the sport globally, help the expansion, and somewhere like China, they absolutely want to break into. So if this comes off, if it is BYD, Christian Horner in Formula One, that could be absolutely huge for Grand Prix racing.